Stillness can carry drama without movement. The sense that something is about to happen can be stronger than the depiction of action. Imminence is a kind of revelation. Flattening can be experienced as spirituality. When light comes from behind, the world turns into silhouette and essence. Twilight reduces particulars and intensifies the general. Series is the first abstraction of method. Repetition of a theme replaces the uniqueness of a motif. The work becomes a laboratory of relations rather than a record of scenes. New form often arrives with a need to speak. Manifestos arise when a territory opens. The text proclaims sensibility more than it explains practice. Prose can contradict where images reconcile. Thought may stutter while the eye resolves. The work can unify oppositions the language cannot hold. The decisive instruction is not reject the natural, but see through it. Nature can be affirmed as beautiful while being used as a veil. Abstractions begin when the natural becomes transparent to relation. Reflection is a critique of hierarchy. The mirrored world negates recession and destabilizes above, below. The image teaches that reality is already a reversal. Influence is often selective confirmation of an inner necessity. The outside world supplies tools, not commandments. The most internalized development is the most linear. A restricted palette can intensify light into the numinous. Limitation can make harmonies glow. Light can become mystical without becoming illustrative. One path into abstraction is radical closedness. The near view abolishes ordinary perspective. Abstraction can be reached by moving into the breast of reality. A metaphysical system can function as a cosmology rather than an aesthetic. One may seek occult knowledge as understanding, not as pictorial content. The work can remain outside occult imagery while being powered by metaphysical premises. Evolution becomes an artistic axiom. Life is read as directed towards transformation. Art is tasked to express the law of becoming without narrative. Balance of opposites is the engine of revelation. Progress requires equivalence. When one principle dominates, it may need to be broken to restore harmony. Exalted knowledge can be drawn from ordinary phenomena through disciplined observation. The inner eye is trained by exact attention to the everyday. Spiritual seeing is an intensification of perception. Art can become a substitute for religious experience. When doctrine fails to deliver equivalence, form becomes liturgy. The small, self-contained work can become a site of revelation. The plane becomes an altar of relation. The greatest victory can require erasing what one loves most. Renunciation is not hatred of the source, but devotion to the goal. One can achieve purity only by passing through loss. Some subjects carry insufficient metaphysical voltage for the desired break. A motif can be formally useful yet spiritually inadequate. The work seeks subjects or anti-subjects capable of bearing ultimate pressure. The abandonment of a single point perspective ends the inherited gaze. The window through which art views the world collapses. Multiple projections arise from the desire to render more completely. A grid can be borrowed and repurposed against its origin. One may take a scaffold and deny its intended spatial aims. The borrowed method becomes a weapon for a different metaphysics. The central operation is the abolition of hierarchy within the picture. Figure and ground must be equalized or destroyed together. Matter and non-matter must be made equivalent. Flatness can be affirmed without chaos. Planes may hover without becoming volemic. Depth can be denied while relation intensifies. Dark elements can become autonomous rather than merely descriptive. The frame can be weakened to strengthen internal relation. Blurred boundaries free the work from dependence on its perimeter. The internal law replaces the external border. The vertical and horizontal become primary metaphysical actors. Their conflict and reconciliation replaces depiction. The world is translated into perpendicular ethics. Perfect equilibrium can shimmer rather than freeze. Relation can be stable without being dead. The work can pulse like a sea at rest, motionless yet alive. Perceived reality can remain behind the work, but relation becomes the true subject. The motif is a pretext, the law is the content. The visible is not denied, only subordinated to structure. Spirit names collective human consciousness as it becomes aware of itself through time. What appears as political, religious, intellectual, and artistic change is, at depth, the itinerary of spirit. History is not merely succession, it is consciousness learning what it is. Experience is spirit's pedagogy. Experience is trial, error, inquiry, an adventure that yields a result. Spirit never ends where it begins, it returns altered. The return is not repetition but transformed selfhood. The dialectic is structured in estrangement. Spirit moves outward into otherness, reflects, and then returns to itself changed. Contradiction is not an accident of development, it is its engine. Art is one of spirit's first ways of stepping outside itself. Art gives spirit sensuousness. Art gives spirit sensuous material presence so that the spirit may confront itself. Art is not decoration, it is a technology of self-reflection. Human freedom grows through the experience of art. Self-awareness and the realization of freedom are partially achieved by making and beholding forms. Art participates in liberation from nature's determinacy. The earliest regime of art is symbolic. Spirit points beyond what it can yet inhabit. When spirit is undeveloped, it can only indicate meaning through stubborn materiality. In symbolic art, matter remains heavy and non-spiritual. Meaning clings to surfaces. The classical regime is unity, form and spiritual content fuse. When a culture's gods, ideals, and human image are fit for embodiment, art becomes pure self-showing. Here, the work does not primarily signify, it exists as a fulfilled presence. The romantic regime is inwardness, spirit exceeds its embodiment. When subjectivity deepens, sensuous form becomes inadequate. Art must invent subtler media to disclose interior life.